EDL, we're back to back weeks. DZ, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Glad to be back. A lot of stuff. Last week was a really good week. I think to come back, I mean, a lot of things to talk about. A lot of points scored last week. A lot of good teams doing good things. We're gonna get into that in a second. First, we're just gonna cover a little bit of what's going on in the league. Do your survivors, confidence picks, blah blah blah. As you can see, the records right now are incorrect a little bit. A couple people have texted me. I was going to get on last night and fix it, but when I was doing blind bidding, but no one did any blind bidding. There's no blind bidding this week. So I didn't get on, but I'm going to fix that right now. Only things I got to double check is if we got double counted for the average or if we got double counted against our person. It shows it's like 5-0 here, but if you go down to like power rankings, it shows the correct scores. If there's other places you look, it still shows 4-0, 3-1, the correct records. So I'm just not sure why it's doing it here in our main preview, but either way, I'll get that fixed today. Yeah, I think as far as house calls, DZ, or like things to do in the league, that was pretty much it. Everything's pretty moving pretty. We saw a trade this week. Been a little bit since we saw a trade. We saw Robbie move off of his preseason Danny Dimes kind of bet, and as he shipped him away, maybe he's not quite off the bet, but he went and got C.J. Stroud. That was a little move. Fun for the week. Let's talk about. We're gonna bring up the matchups, the previews, reviews, stuff like that. But I want to talk a little bit about what we did and what we saw last week, as we saw some freaking ridiculous scoring. Player records. Right here, we're going to start with Devon A-Chain and his score. He had 54.9 fantasy points, which ranks for the 15th highest score ever last week on Robbie's squad, as we all know. It is the highest week 3 score ever for Devon A-Chain. Pretty fantastic. It shows number 7 here, but it only goes back to 2019. Then you got to go back and look at all the other years. Maybe it's 5-year blocks, but he's 15th overall. Give a little shout out. I know he wasn't started, but DZ, he is not the highest non-starter on the high points all time. We have Nick Foles, who's on, I think, Pete's Taxi Squad, had a higher score. And then we also had Big Ben, not started by Seward, who also had a higher score. So, awesome to see out of Devon A-Chain. Pretty dope to see a rookie go off. 15th highest score all time. DZ, your opinion on that score? Is that a career day? Did we just see Devon A-Chain's career day from a rookie just 3 games in?
It's so funny. We talked about this in the Xbox party chat, but yeah, I think that's he peaked in high school, Nate Dogg. That's it right there.
Pretty cool. I know Rob, even though on his bench, I'm sure he's got to love it to see going forward. To get away from doing the things that we always do, DZ, on the show, we're going to do my mind kind of went a little different when I was doing a little bit of the research. And it started with A-Chain. I was like, oh, that's a fantastic game. We talked about it. Is that a career game? So I thought, we're 3 weeks in. It's still very, very, very small sample size. But I thought I would play a little bit of a buy, sell, or hold with you. Okay? And we're going to do strictly rookies, buy, sell, or hold. And I'm gonna put you on the spot, and we know context-wise, we're gonna try to leave no context because all these rookies can be buy, sells, or hold depending on the situation. So leave it contextless, and let's see if we can't catch some falling knives or sell the peak or buy the peak. So we're gonna start with rookies, buy, sell, or hold. What you know now about the player, ADP doesn't matter. We're gonna start with Bryce Young at the quarterback position.
I liked him before the draft process. I liked him at the draft. And I'm not coming off him after 3 games, especially after he missed one.
What does
So
that
buy.
mean? You're
That's
a
a
buyer.
buy. That's a buy.
All right, C.J. Stroud.
I didn't like him, but listen, when someone goes out there and throws for nearly 900 yards in their first 3 games. Obviously, you're questioning your valuation of that guy, so I have to be a buyer at this point.
Anthony Richardson.
Fucking buy, bro. Fucking buy.
So those are the three quarterbacks that have gotten any kind of starts. I know we had another first round quarterback or other guys that we thought, but those are the only relevant guys to start. So we got 3 buys on the quarterback. You're feeling pretty strong about the rookie class. Let's move to running backs. Bijan.
That's easy. It's a buy.
Number 2 on the fantasy points, as we know, all coming last week. A-Chain.
Hey, one of my some people know this. One of my very favorite running backs when watching film. So he's obviously a buy. I would have said that, Nate, before this week. I promise.
Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs.
I want to talk about him a little bit later in this buy section of this, but it's still a buy. But there's some disturbing things there.
Roshan Johnson.
I'm selling this guy. Like, look at, I know he's getting some burn, but look at that backfield. Not very impressive at all. I think it's just a bad team type of. He's getting some burn and I guess somewhat efficient in this time.
All right, how about Zach Charbonnet? Charbonnet.
Absolute, dude. This is so crazy how this is working out with that whole backfield because people were so scared of both of them after Charbonnet went there, except for Edwards and Rupp, and I feel like they're both benefiting. They kind of zigged when everybody was zagging, and it's paid off. So I buy Charbonnet big time.
All right, we got a lot of buys still in the rookie class. Small sample size, but we're not.
Well, I'm rebuild guys, so
Yeah.
of course I'll buy it.
All right, let's move on to the receivers. We went through, and I'm just going through the relevant guys just real quick. Puka.
I'm buying, cautiously buying.
Buying.
I mean, none of his stuff because you're talking about at the price he's at right now.
You're giving too much context, Easy.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Sorry. So
You're selling?
buy, sell, buy, sell.
All right, next guy, Tank Dell.
I buy.
Marvin Mims.
Buy.
Oh, yeah, he's on your team. Zay Flowers.
Buy.
Jordan Addison.
Buy.
Let's. Mingo.
Sell.
JSN.
Buy.
And Quentin Johnson.
Hold. Was hold on there?
Yeah, you can say whatever.
Hold.
All right, and then let's move to the tight ends. Wrap it up with a few that are relevant. Dalton Kincaid.
Hold.
Sam Laporta.
Buy.
And Luke Musgrave.
Sell.
I like it, D's. Yeah, a little rookie update, if you will, about where their stuff. I guess we're still small samples, so the smart move would be to buy, or does this continue holding these players? I don't know if anyone has quite reached a sell peak, and I think you kind of alluded to that. You draft these rookies, and if they're playing well, I mean, you might as well reap the benefits instead of moving along and just pawning them off or selling them. But yeah, so Devon A-Chain kind of sparked that thought, rookie, blah, 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 blah. And then to kind of piggyback, something I thought might be cool, getting a little different with what's going on. Also, hot starts. I wanted to highlight 2 other players for their great start to the year. As you can see, I was on rookie. We have Keenan Allen and Raheem Mostert, who are the top 2 of the packs, 92.2 fantasy points so far for Keenan Allen, and Raheem Mostert at 92.1. I went and did the research, DZ. They rank. Allen is the 8th and 9th best fantasy starts ever in the EDL for those 2 players, Keenan Allen, Raheem Mostert. And I'm sorry, my bad. I'm excluding quarterbacks. The top 8 and 9 starts of any fantasy skilled players, not quarterbacks, all time in the EDL, both popping off the charts. And for Keenan Allen, more specifically, he is the second best wide receiver start ever out of the first 3 weeks of the season. Any guesses on who had the best start?
I give up, big dog.
Julio Jones had 1 year where Julio Jones went off and just started out the year, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, Julio Jones. And then the other guy, so I'm like, who's higher on this list? Who has done better? You have Kamara on there twice, Todd Gurley on there twice, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones. Just basically a who's who of, if you will, our EDL Hall of Fame. So I got to thinking, I was like, EDL Hall of Fame, Fantasy Hall of Fame, that's something we really haven't ever discussed, haven't ever talked about. Something that would be kind of cool if we could put together a little Hall of Fame list and kind of narrow it down and get in our best EDL players ever to have shown their, been in the EDL. Do you kind of like where this is going? Maybe?
I fucking love it.
All right, DZ. So here's what we're going to do. Each week I'm going to come up with 2 guys, and I'm going to put them head-to-head and give you a couple stats of each. And you got to pick one to go into our pool, our Hall of Fame pool, and one that is exiled forever. Forever.
Forever?
That can never be mentioned again in the EDL
No,
Hall of Fame.
I don't know if I like this process.
At least for this. Yeah, this is what we're doing. It's cutthroat. You pick one to get in, and then one to get out, and maybe we'll pick 5 at the very end after, 6 weeks.
Well, how about this? Okay, I like that idea. How about this? The ones that get kicked out can come back next year.
Yeah, okay, can come back next year, but not this year.
For the next class.
All right, so when I was like, to get us jumped off, I came up with a little list. If you want one, just auto in. We're just gonna auto in one guy for you, one guy for me. Auto in, put them in there. Don't put them against nothing. I came up with a few names that I thought were worthy that we can pick from. You don't have to pick from this list, but a couple of guys that I think are Hall of Fame. Put them in to the running. I have, for the running backs, I just did a few receivers and running backs. Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, Adrian Peterson, Derrick Henry, and Ezekiel Elliott. All I think are qualified. Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, D-Hop, A.J. Green, and Dez Bryant. I think all those guys maybe have a serious case. If you want somebody different, go ahead. But that's a few names if you want. Do you want to pick one now, or do you want to do our head-to-head battle and come back to that?
Well, I mean, there's one from the running back side that I feel is a lock.
Go ahead.
Adrian Peterson.
All right, you're going to lock in Adrian Peterson. He's in the running. I'm going to lock in Julio Jones. It only seems right. Julio was going to get in whenever he got his head-to-head battle. Lock those guys in. They're into the pool. And then as for today, we have 2 guys going head-to-head to join Julio Jones and, who'd you say? Adrian Peterson?
I said Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, Julio Jones and Adrian Peterson. The 2 players who are, there's no other people that can go into this. They're head-to-head. We have our first player, Stephon Diggs. Okay, do you want? Well, let me tell you about Stephon Diggs first. Okay.
You have numbers.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
Thank you.
So Stephon Diggs has been in the air. There's been 12 years in the EDL. We're in the 12th year, I think. He's been in 9 his whole career. His whole career he was in the EDL. His career has only been active for 9 years. So his whole career stats are EDL worthy. Side note, Rupp drafted him and has never traded him. He has been a lifer on Rupp's team in the EDL his whole career. Pretty crazy. Okay, so in those years he has 728 catches, 60 touchdowns, 9,091 yards. Okay, I know those are hard to track, but per season that comes out to 80 catches, 6.6 touchdowns per year, and 1,010 yards. Now, some of these aren't great because it factors in the rookie year, it factors in, the coming up, the ups and downs, but that's his whole career. He's averaging 80 catches per year, 6.6 touchdowns, and over 1,000 yards. Okay. Side note, Stephon Diggs has a ring, an EDL ring. He got it his rookie year on Rupp's team. Wasn't he was only good. He had like a 5-point game, and then in the second week he had a 20-point game, and in the Super Bowl he only had a 5-point game. But he's got an EDL ring. Stephon
Did
Diggs.
Rupp start him?
Right? Yeah, he was starting. He was in there, but he didn't really do anything except for the second week. But he does have a ring in the starting lineup.
Very interesting.
His competitor, DZ, Stephon Diggs versus Jordy Nelson. What do we remember about Jordy Nelson? So he only has 7 years out of the 12 in the EDL because he was beforehand. So we got his back 7. In those 7 years, he had 504 catches, 66 touchdowns, 7,319 yards. So if we factor per year, 72 catches, 6 less than Diggs, 9.4 touchdowns, 2.8, almost 3 higher per year than Diggs, and 1,045 yards, so about 30 more yards. So very, very, very similar on the little less catches, but more TDs. And DZ, he also has a ring, buddy. He has a ring our inaugural season, 2012, on your roster. His only caveat is he got hurt the week before the playoffs, so he did not play in the fantasy playoffs or the Super Bowl. He was not part of the playoff run, but he was on the roster. DZ, you got to pick one. I'm not even getting to vote. It's your pick. That's it. Stephon Diggs, Jordy Nelson. Hall of Fame. It's in the pool. Pick
So
one.
wait a minute. Hold on. Is my pick's going to put them in the Hall of Fame, and we're not going to...
No, we're going to, at the end, we'll select a few collectively, but you're selecting the pool. You're selecting the pool.
Listen, I got a lot of connection here with Jordy Nelson. Actually, something that you didn't mention in there because it's my story. Maybe it was the next year or something like that. I was down to Michael Henderson in the playoffs by like 25, 30, something crazy. I can't remember. But Jordy absolutely fucking dragged me back into that game. But I just can't pick him because of that, because of my memories. He's in my Ring of Honor, but he shouldn't be in the EDL's Ring of Honor over someone like Stephon Diggs, who's been a staple since day one of his career.
So Diggs is your vote?
Yes.
We got Adrian Peterson, Julio Jones, and Stephon Diggs in the pool so far. I like it, these. And side notes, Jordy Nelson got traded 11 times in the EDL, and that's in those 7 years.
I had a big one with Edwards for Forte. I can't remember how. I think I overpaid. Whatever. It's stupid.
All right, that was kind of fun, DZ. Come something different, maybe put together a Hall of Fame pool, and we'll do a couple guys maybe every week. Let's jump into last week, talk about review our games. I still got some side notes on some of our guys, but let's rock and roll.
Yes.
All right, weekly results. Yeah, let's start out with, we got Casey getting a big win. I know he was thinking 300, wanted 300, was talking about it in the chat. But 273.6, fantastic efficiency rating. Getting a win over Robbie, 226.2. We saw Robbie make a trade. We kind of already brought this up. Robbie made a trade after this. But let's start with Casey. Give me his pater.
Sam Laporta. Nate Dogg, 26.4. What a draft. You know what's funny is we joked about Casey drafted this guy in June, gave him a contract like a week later, maybe even sooner. Like a big contract, and it's paying off. They number 2 tight end in the league right now, behind you know who, I'm sure. 26.4 points in this game for Sam Laporta.
I tried to get a little Sam Laporta before the season started. I liked him too, but great. I think I saw stats something like he's the only tight end ever to start his career with 5 catches in his first 3 games. Not that matters, but something like that. Give me his Joe Dirt.
Yeah, I went with Joe Burrow, Nate Dogg, 8.4 in this one. He's the 29th best quarterback in the league with 30.2 for the season. That's slightly ahead of Ryan Tannehill of the Titans and Nate Dogg's team. The big problem here is you got T. Higgins, Nate. We always talk about these stacks, but when that quarterback's not playing, them stacks are hurting. T only had 4.1 in this one. He needs Casey definitely needs Joe Burrow to get going.
True. Still getting the win though. Robbie's team. Let's talk about his pay dirt.
Yeah, I went with a guy I traded him over the offseason. Not a lot of good news for Robbie, but Myles Garrett is one of them. 32.3, Nate. Huge week in this one. Went from the 37th best edge all the way to number 5.
Miles Garrett's really good. He's really good. Give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with the other guy. 7 points in this one, back-to-back single digits after a great week 1. 15 targets, 5 catches last 2 weeks.
Who'd you? Oh, Calvin. You kind of glitzed.
Calvin really. I'm sorry, I didn't say his name.
No, you're good. All right. Well, Casey getting a win. Well done. Moving on to our next game, we got Bird moving to 4-0. And a little side note on Bird. Last time he was 4-0 was 2021, just not long ago, 2 years ago. And that's the only time, I know Bird only took it over 5 years, but that's the only time in the whole history of the EDL that this franchise, even when they were in Baltimore or wherever they moved to, that they have been undefeated. So Bird, in a short time owning this team, 5 years, he's really turned it around to being a good competitor.
Baby.
Let's start with Birds and his pay dirt.
Justin Herbert, man, my guy. Hey, Nate, 40 of 47 in this game. That's crazy. 405 yards, 3 touchdowns. Herbert is the number 2 quarterback in the league.
Dude, if he lost that game, baby, that was gonna be. We're gonna have some narratives in the chat. Give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with CeeDee Lamb, Nate. Only 11.7 week 1, 10.6 in this one. Had a great week in week 2, but you kind of expect more from your number 1 after trading away A.J. Brown in the offseason.
Very true. Let's move on over to Jerome's side and his pay dirt.
Hey, talk about number 1 receivers. Finally, Jamar Chase. Even though Burrow had a bad game, Jamar Chase showed up in this one. 12 catches, 141 yards, 26 points. Nate, Jamar had back-to-back double or single-digit games to start the season. It was looking kind of rough. We understand when Burrow start, but finally off to had a great game here on Monday night.
And his Joe Dirt?
This one was tough. So I hope Jerome doesn't take this to heart because all his offense had to over double digits for him. I went with Jahmyr Gibbs, though, because you talk about, being the number 4 pick in the EDL draft. Now Monty was out this week, and only to get 12.6 as the main character in that backfield is kind of disappointing. Now Monty's back. Who knows what the role will be there?
I'm with you. All right, good win for Bird, doing big things, undefeated, still the four undefeated teams still. Moving on to, that was a close game too. Only
no stat correction that I saw this morning.
1.6 point differential. I'm sure if I thought of it, I would have. There's some stat how close of a matchup that is. Probably a really good one. Moving on to our next team, Plainview Edwards going 4-0, getting the win over Matt and here for the Hertz. Edwards, his last time being undefeated this far into the year was 2013. So we got this is vintage Edwards. This is throwback Edwards this year. Give me his pay dirt.
I went with Kenneth Walker. We talked about this just a little bit ago. Everybody was kind of scared of Kenneth Walker. Now looking like one of the better running backs in the league. 34.2 points, Nate. 18 carries, 97 yards. Got in the end zone twice. And even more importantly, Nate, 3 catches for 59 yards is huge for a guy that most people say can't catch the ball.
And give me his Joe Dirt.
This reminds me of last year when everybody was hyping up Darnell Mooney for Edwards, and it just didn't pan out for him. Johan Dotson from Washington, single digits in every single game this year, 4.1 in this one, Nate. I really like this kid. I just don't understand why he's not getting it done. Maybe it's because Sam Howell is just garbage.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I feel like I see a couple of highlights a week of Sam Howell just throwing some pretty balls, but then you look at his stat line at the end or like his receivers and it's not there. Let's move over to Matt's team and give me his pay dirt.
I went with Romeo Dobbs, 18.3 in this one, 5 catches, 73 yards. and a touchdown, 12 targets on the afternoon. Man, that Packers team looked like they were dead. And then all of a sudden, if anybody saw the highlights, Dobbs made a crazy like fingertip catch on the sideline, kind of got them going, and they came back and won the game.
And give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with Mark Andrews here. Nothing too crazy. 9.5 in this one. I just put that because of the price tag he paid for Mark Andrews. He looked like James Conner and a bunch of couple firsts, couple seconds, something like that. You want a little bit more from Mark Andrews with 9.5.
I just can't help to look at Matt's team here, and like you look at the top 7 names. It looks like he's gonna have a 300-point week, but then just you hit about the midpoint, and the whole defense let him down big time.
Yeah, and now Mike Williams is out for the season. Yikes.
Tough. He does get Eckler back. I think it's on practicing this week. I don't know if he's back, but either way, let's move on to our next game. We got Rupp getting a dub, 259.9 over Seward, 220. Rupp himself has been undefeated thus far in the season in 2012, 2015, 2020, and again this year. So Rupp's been doing this. Give me his pay dirt.
No, I'm yawning because his team is so boring. I got Keenan out. I got Keenan out here. A pretty easy pick right here. 46.5, babe. We talked about him. 18 catches, 215 yards, 20 targets. Damn, dude, number 1 overall player in EDL.
Yes, and number 2, he's good. Keenan Allen might be just underrated, just across the board. He probably should be mentioned with some of the just really good receivers. Maybe a Hall of Fame? No. What's his Joe Dirt?
I got Garrett Wilson, maybe a future Hall of Famer, but right now it's not looking so good with Zach Wilson over there. 9.88 only in this game, 5 catches, 48 yards, 9 targets. You got to feel bad for the kid, right? Like, goddamn, can we get a different quarterback in there? Where's Joe Flacco at?
Yes. And then let's move over to Seward's team and his pay dirt.
The number 1 quarterback in the league right now, just ahead of Herbert, is Kirk Cousins. 31.2 in this one, Nate. 367 yards, 3 touchdowns. Good start to the season for Cousins, even though it's not a good start for the Vikings.
Freaking throwing the ball like crazy over there. His Joe Dirt.
Fuck. I'm sorry, Seward, but dude, this is looking worse and worse and worse. But Najee Harris, bro, 10.3 in this one, 24.3 on the season. Dude, Nate Dogg, I thought this guy was a pass catcher. Only 3 catches all season. Like, it's getting grosser and gross. You don't even want to relive the old C-Mac trade back in the old draft of 2021 or whatever it was.
Good win for Rupp. Doing well. We got another person with not on their first ever winning streak. Could be a winning streak. But Zoe gets this first EDL dub. Congratulations to Zoe. 190.6 to 181.3. Victory over you. Let's go to Zoe and his pay dirt.
Is that his first win ever?
Ever.
Since he's been in the league?
Ever. He went winless. Last year was his first year. He went winless.
And I'm the one.
Yep.
I'm the one.
Yep.
Shut it down, bro. Shut it down. Fuck me, man. All right. Pay dirt is Andy Dalton. Dude, 58 passes, Nate. 58 passes for the Red Rocket. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 27.5 points for Andy Dalton. Fucking stupid.
All right, give me his Joe Dirt.
Bijan, I don't want to knock the kid, but 12 points. It's not his fault. His coach sucks. His team sucks. Desmond Ritter sucks. There's going to be better days. But 12 points, you got to do better as the number 1 overall pick.
Give me your pay dirt.
Jimmy G, bro. Like, I know, like, is he the only one that scored 20 for me? Where the fuck, where are they at? Oh. Yeah, he two out of the 3 games this year so far, Nate, 20 points. I'll take it.
And give me your Joe Dirt.
I fucking hate this guy now. Matthew fucking Stafford, you bitch. You bitch.
Oh, he could have won it.
12.9, that bitch. Dude, he doesn't have a 20-point game all year, Nate.
That's tough. Zoe, congrats on the first win. Moving on to our next one, we got myself matched up against Pete. Pete with the bounce back 270, but I put up a 293.2 behind some big ass scores. I was at this point undefeated in 2014, 2018, and this almost every 4 years I'm back, DZ. Give me my pay dirt.
Devontae Adams, 13 catches, 172, 2 touchdowns, force fed here on Sunday Night Football. 20 targets, Nate. Devontae's up to number 4 receiver, 42.2 points in this game, Nate.
I like it. Give me my Joe dirt.
See, I'm gonna make you feel sad, but I'm gonna bring you back up, okay?
Deal.
Okay. It's Derrick Henry. That's not the sad part. The sad part is Tajay Spears on the season has 56% of the snaps. Henry only 38% of the snaps. So at first I was like, what the fuck are they doing? They better trade him, which would be good. Like Baltimore. Can you imagine him in Baltimore? Oh my God. You better get those trade offers today, Nate. But now are they trying to save him for the season? For the end of the season? What are they doing? Either way, it's good for you, right? Either you trade me to Baltimore or you give me some totes when it matters, right?
Yep, I don't mind what they're doing with it. Yeah, saving them legs, baby, saving them legs. Let's move over to Pete's team and give me his pay dirt.
I went with, hey, Pete kind of bragged about him in the fucking chat, so I just threw him down. Terrell Bernard, the fucking linebacker, 29.1 out of nowhere. 2 sacks, 1 INT, Nate, a big combo mill. And I'll tell you what, I looked at this guy's back games, and I'm like, not very, like, that impressive, like 8.9, 12.7. Pete just threw him in there. Now, I wonder if it's because he was going against Sam Howell or not. But either way, good game from Terrell Bernard on this one.
And give me his Joe dirt.
And I hate to keep going back and harping on this, but Justin Fields, Nate, 13.9 in this one. He only had 99 yards passing. He only has 526 yards on the season. Ugh.
It's tough. Getting the dub, I will take it. DZ, that's all of our matchups for last week. Let's do some previews and Boogie.
Yeah.
Previews.
We got, what, 4 minutes left, bro?
First game, Bird of Prey. Oh, dude, I think everyone has back-to-backs against the same person. Weird they did that on the schedule this year.
Yeah, it's fucked up, bro.
I think it's like that for everybody. But back-to-back games, we got Bird of Prey. Round 1 of 2, we got Bird and Casey. EDL, we know the projections or whatever, but Bird's only a 2-point favorite on this one.
Hey, this is scary. I'm going to go Casey. Burrow's going to get it going. Casey wins.
Man, I kind of like it, too, against Titans. I'm going to go Casey, too. I don't know why. But I like that matchup against the Titans. I think it's a bounce-back game. We got Seward and Edwards. Back-to-back. Seward, knock Edwards down off that frickin'... Come on, Seward. Edwards talking some mad shit on my birthday in the chat. I need you to win. I'm going Seward. I'm not going to talk about it.
I'm going to pick Seward always.
Hey, yeah, fuck Edwards. Next game, we got Rupp versus Matt.
Rupp.
God damn it, Matt. I've liked Matt's team for like 2-3 years. Losing Mike Williams sucks. Give me Rupp. Next game, we got Pete against Zoe.
It's a wrap. Go back losing ways, though.
Again, I go Pete as well, and then we got myself versus you, D's.
Better watch out.
Give me the dub, I hope.
Hey, can you imagine just being the laughing stock of EDL?
I better not lose. And then our last matchup, we got Robbie versus Jerome. That one looks like it's going to be tight.
Nah, this is get right. This is get right for girlies. Robbie's guys, Just can't get it done, bro. These projections are out of this world, dude. Like Herbert 15, has he scored that this year? Like, what the fuck are they thinking on this?
I don't know. It's
How much do they smoke before they fucking write this out?
don't use Fantasy Sharks as your projection site. That's for damn sure.
15 from Khalil Herbert?
Dude, Robbie's always scary because he's got Garrett Parsons.
And he just threw A-Chain in there?
Yeah,
Just like, fuck,
you gotta
nobody's
start him
business?
now. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Robbie. You got Jerome?
Hey, over under 60 points for A-Chain from this week and next week. Or last week and this week.
That's funny. All right, good show. Good shit, D's. Good talking to you, EDL. The realest ever. See y'all next week, hopefully.
Peace.
Peace.